Studios.
What a move!
Here's Josh Hennig.
Well, just because we're a couple days removed from Super Bowl 57 doesn't mean the loss feels any different as we move further away. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on Game Night Power Hour on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Around 6:15, we will talk with Dave Weinberg for this week's Weinberg Wednesday. We'll get his thoughts and his reaction to the big game. Of course, if you haven't seen it, go to our website, 973ESPN.com. You get Dave's immediate reactions to the game on Sunday. As always, you can join the conversation at 609-403-0973 on the text board and your DMs in 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Sixers back in action tonight. We'll get into Sixers more a little bit later in the hour because this is going to be a fascinating matchup. This is one of those styles make fights kind of games to me. You know, with the way the Sixers play, it's a completely different style than what the Cavs like to do. You know, the Cavs are a team, they're very, very athletic. Their entire repertoire is based on athleticism. And the Sixers' entire lineup is built on the idea of, we're going to shoot, we're going to rebound, we are going to execute a certain style of offense with these specific players. The Sixers, their two players are better than the Cavs' two players, but you could argue the Cavs have, more, I'll say they have more depth and maybe more recognizable depth in the Sixers. So we'll get into all that a little bit as well. But where I want to start with the Eagles is now that we are another day removed from the news that came out yesterday of Steichen becoming the Colts head coach and Gannon becoming the Cardinals head coach. And, the news is starting to formulate, what direction they're going to go in. And I think that what is interesting about this is that, the Eagles want a certain style of coordinator. They want a certain kind of person, but they still have to go through a whole process. They still have to interview candidates from outside the organization before they fill the vacancies in their organization. And I think that is one of the more interesting aspects of this whole thing. And that is, do the Eagles talking to anyone they have to interview from outside the organization? Because that's the rules, right? You can't just interview in-house and promote. You have to interview candidates, specifically minority candidates, from outside the organization, and it has to be a real interview. It can't just be some sort of token interview. It can't just be some sort of, hey, you do me a favor, I do you a favor. It has to be a legitimate interview. So through the process of these interviews, could that possibly alter what the Eagles plan on doing? I mean that seriously. Does the Eagles going through this process, does something change along the way? And I'm just using this as an example. I've heard a lot of people who cover the Eagles, a lot of people who are knowledgeable of the Eagles say, look, the Eagles organization really loves Denard Wilson. He's done a great job the past couple of years. But Denard Wilson may be a guy that they like the idea of being a coordinator, but do they end up interviewing somebody for the defensive coordinator who blows them away or impresses them or has such a massive impact on them in the meeting that they decide to go a different direction? I think that is going to be one of the things I keep an eye on with the Eagles, because, if you have to interview people from outside the organization, if they get a Vance Joseph or a Lovie Smith, just to use those guys as an example, if they get one of those guys in the room and it's Howie and it's Sirianni and it's the owner, Jeff Lurie, if they get all those guys in the room with one of these outside candidates and that candidate impresses them, do they say, hey, we were going to go in one direction, but now we're going to change course? I think that is the part I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out, because there's no guarantee that who is going to be the coordinator next year. Like I told you guys yesterday, my working assumption is that Brian Johnson will be the OC, and that seems to be what a lot of the reporting is suggesting, that Johnson is the leading candidate for that job. And defensive coordinator, it really comes down to who you ask, because certain people are saying that, look, Denard Wilson is a prime candidate for this job. And, Rob Motti talked to us yesterday on Game Night here on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. Yeah, Rob suggested, hey, the 49ers have done a great job of promoting from within their organization coordinators and assistant coaches who've gone on to other jobs. And, my counter to that was, well, is there a guarantee that the Eagles will be as good at that as the 49ers have been? There is no guarantee. The Eagles are not infallible. They're not without flaw. They're not they're not some magic elixir to all problems in the world. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend like this is a simple answer, a simple situation. But what I will point to for the Eagles and their coordinator search is I will not back off of my position that they need an experienced person. I don't personally care that Denard Wilson is a great guy. He's done a great job. I think that there's a pattern that works in the NFL today. There is a system of operation that works in this league that I think the Eagles would be very neglectful to detract from. And that is, every organization has the head coach who has a specific background, and he hires somebody on the other side of the ball who is basically the head coach of that side of the ball, whether it's Steve Spagnuolo in Kansas City, whether it is a guy like Robert Saleh, DeMeco Ryans, and now Steve Wilkes in San Francisco, whether it's Dan Quinn in Dallas, whether it is now Brian Flores, who just got hired in Minnesota. Whatever the job is, you have somebody whose their focus is on the other side of the ball, and they're not going to, have just some rando guy calling plays on the other side without that experience, without that, pedigree as a coach or a former player. Coming up next, we'll talk with Dave Weinberg for this week's Weinberg Wednesday here with me, Josh Hennig. Power Hour leading you up the Sixers basketball tonight, 7:30. On 97.3 ESPN.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app with Tim Saunders and Steve Coates calling all the play-by-play action.
He's in the right circle. He scores! On the power play.
It's Flyers Kraken. Coverage begins at 10 p.m. It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey on the radio home of the Flyers in South Jersey. 97.3 ESPN.
For exceptional savings on your next BMW, visit BMW of Atlantic City. Lease a new 2023 BMW X1X Drive 28i for $559 a month for 36 months. Or lease a new 2023 BMW X3X Drive 30i for $599 a month for 36 months. Plus, we'll pay top dollar for your current vehicle. Visit BMW of Atlantic City, closer than you think. Located in Egg Harbor Township and online at bmwatlanticcity.com. For more details, call us toll-free at 609-316-2393.
Dell Technologies President's Day event is here with deals to power all your passions. The savings start now on select sleek XPS laptops and more, powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors. Don't forget, special pricing on the latest monitors, docks, and accessories, plus free shipping on everything and monthly payment options with Dell Preferred Account. Just call 877-ASK-DELL for these limited time President's Day deals. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Josh, quote, "After walking around my whole life being a mouth breather, I was excited to try Navage. I read the directions carefully, pressed the button, and oh my gosh, what a sensation. So much mucus, so much crud, but oh sweet, merciful air, I can finally breathe you through my nose. Never have I ever taken such an amazing breath in my life. This is a life changer," unquote. He's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Introducing Total by Verizon, a new prepaid wireless provider with no contract plans starting at just $30 a month. With Total by Verizon, you don't have to sacrifice reliability or freedom. Get Total by Verizon and save money every month on America's most reliable 5G network. Most reliable 5G based on most first-place rankings and Root Metrics first half 2022 assessment of 125 metros. Experiences vary, not an endorsement.
The Riverview at Sweetwater Marina and River Deck is located on the historic Mullica River. With its versatile event space, all maintained by experienced, attentive staff. This venue presents an exceptional setting for a celebration to remember. Warm and intimate, Sweetwater specializes in weddings, sweet 16s, corporate events, bridal showers, and more. Sweetwater Marina and River Deck will be nothing short of amazing. Visit sweetwaterriverdeck.com for more information.
Hi.
Who's this?
Buzz. He appears whenever you eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
Like a genie?
Sure.
Ooh, does he grant wishes? I wish I lived in a giant boot. No, I wish I could swim with a humpback whale. No.
I can grant you a delicious bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, which can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
Ooh, with heart shapes, too.
Happy heart-shaped Cheerios are back for a limited time. Pick up a box of Honey Nut Cheerios at your local store for an easy, delicious, and heart-healthy start to your day.
At the Home Depot, we know the world is a messy place. Keeping it clean takes science. That's why businesses everywhere have long trusted cleaning products from Ecolab to take on the toughest messes. And now, that level of clean is available for your home. Introducing Ecolab Scientific Clean, a full line of professional-grade cleaning products for all your home's needs, so you can clean like you mean business. Now available exclusively at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
And now, a poem for all you lovebirds out there. Getting down on getting down. Some cars are red, others are blue. Trade in your old car and drive something new.
Fall in love with your new Nissan at Matt Blatt Nissan with 0% financing for 36 months, 0 payments for 45 days, and 0 money down.
Oh, yeah, it's on at Matt Blatt Nissan.
So bring any trade because AJ, the trade man, wants to buy your vehicle today, regardless of the make, miles, or condition. AJ pays cash. Then treat yourself to a brand new Nissan Altima, Pathfinder, or Rogue, all with 0 down, 0 payments, 0 interest. And only Matt Blatt Nissan has a 4-day love it or leave it return policy. MattBlattNissan.com. Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $27.78 per thousand. Finance on in-stock 2023 Rogues. Pathfinder Ultima. Not all will qualify. Go to MattBlattNissan.com for complete details or call 844-917-4758. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Then PC 739-900. Rogue S. MSRP 31,185. Doc 589. Sell price 31,774. Expires 3/3/23. It's on at Matt Blatt Nissan on the Black Horse Pike. Egg Harbor Township.
You're listening to Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
Let's continue to talk about the Eagles in the aftermath of Super Bowl 57 here on 97.3 ESPN. It is a Weinberg Wednesday, and Dave Weinberg is kind enough to join us live from the Great South, where it is much warmer where he is at. Although it was a nice day in Jersey today, Dave Weinberg joins us here on 97.3 ESPN. Dave, welcome back in. How's Florida treating you?
Fantastic, Josh. 83 and sunny today. Can't beat it.
So now that we've had a few days removed from the actual Super Bowl itself, how are you feeling in the aftermath now that you've had some time to maybe, compress more information, decompress, or whatever terminology you want to use about what happened on Sunday.
Well, I got some flack from people because I picked the Chiefs, and but I was
You were
reported.
right.
Yeah, but people don't seem to want to hear that. But anyway, that's okay. Including my wife. She still calls me a hater, but that's all right. But yeah, I mean, it was a great game, Josh. It really was. Right down to the wire, which is what I expected. Two best teams in the league battling it out. I mean, you can't ask for much more than that. Drama right down to the last second. I just thought it was a fantastic game. One of the best Super Bowls I've seen.
I thought that one of the biggest takeaways from the game, Dave, was the fact that, if people thought Andy Reid was a good coach, I think now you got to say that he's a even better coach, because I thought the adjustments that they made in the second half completely exposed the Eagles defense.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, yeah, it was Jonathan Gannon just got out-coached completely in the second half. I mean, Reid had all the answers. Those two touchdowns. I've never seen receivers so open. And then they did it again, and it was the same thing. I was just, Reid just completely dominated the second half from a coaching standpoint. And, more credit, they made the adjustments, and the Eagles didn't. Why they didn't, I have no idea. But, it was clear as day that the Chiefs were the better team in the second half. That's for sure.
It's funny, Dave, because I've been saying for the last couple of days that what I saw the Chiefs do, the Eagles, I saw happen in the Lions game this year. I saw against the Cowboys on Christmas Eve. I saw in the Washington loss. I saw in the Houston Texans first half of that game. It's not like Kansas City came out and did anything extremely different, but Gannon just made the wrong adjustments. And I think at the end of the day, Andy Reid has the coaching experience advantage, and that's really what mattered at the highest level.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, Reid's been there before. I think you and I discussed this before the game, that I just thought experience was going to be a factor in this, and it was. I mean, Reid and Mahomes, they've been in this situation before. They know how to handle the pressure and know how to make adjustments. I mean, you had like a half-hour halftime show, and that was more than enough time for them to figure out what Gannon was doing and to adjust accordingly. And it was, I mean, I know people are going to the biggest deal, obviously, was that the Eagles had 0 sacks. Your defense doesn't get the Mahomes. I know people are going to blame the turf and all that, but it was bad for both sides. And they shouldn't use that as an excuse. I mean, give all credit to the Chiefs for devising a way. Mahomes got rid of the ball very quickly. The offensive line played exceptionally well. So I thought that was the difference in the game, to be honest with you.
When you look at, let me ask you about that. Do you feel like then that the Chiefs, I mean, was their equipment manager or like their staff better prepared to handle the situation than the Eagles were? Like, how do you explain that the Eagles were slipping and sliding more than the Chiefs were?
Yeah, it was kind of strange. I mean, the Chiefs, I guess, did a few times. I mean, Pacheco slipped in the end zone after he scored the touchdown,
right?
Which was really cool to see, by the way, for a South Jersey kid to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl. That was really neat to watch. And but anyway, you would think that they would have all sorts of cleats to adjust to any situation, really, whether it's rain, mud, sleet, snow, slippery grass, what have you. But I don't know. I guess they left them back in Philly for some reason. I don't know.
So, Dave, now the Eagles didn't just lose Super Bowl 57. They've lost both of their coordinators, offense and defense. Now, Dave, you're more than welcome to disagree with me, but I've been pounding the table for the last 24 hours. No offense to Denard Wilson or anyone on the Eagles staff. I don't want to see a guy promoted from in-house. I think this organization would benefit from doing what other good teams do and having a guy who's basically the head coach of the defense go out and get somebody who has, NFL defensive experience, bring him in to run the defense.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I would definitely look outside for something like that. I mean, you had it with Jim Schwartz when they actually hired him before they hired Doug Peterson to be the head of the defense. And Nick Sirianni's an offensive-minded guy, so you need when you have an offensive-minded head coach, you definitely need a strong presence for your defensive coordinator. I mean, he's not just taking orders; he's actually the guy. So, essentially, he's the guy that's designing the defense, calling the plays. So, yeah, you need somebody with a little bit of experience there. Absolutely.
Because again, I'm not anti like Denard Wilson. I know he's very beloved in the Eagles organization, but it's like for every organization, Dan Quinn in Dallas. I mean, San Francisco's had 3 different guys out there with Kyle Shanahan, right? Kansas City's got Steve Spagnuolo. Like, I think there's a benefit to saying Vance Joseph, Lovie Smith, one of these guys, you come in here, you run the defense. I got a brand new offensive coordinator I'm going to have. I'm Nick Sirianni. I'm going to focus on the offense.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with you 100% there. Like I said, you need an experienced defensive coordinator. He's essentially going to be handling that side of the ball exclusively. He's your defensive leader. So, yeah, you definitely need somebody, like you said, like a Vance Joseph or what have you, or Lovie Smith. I don't know. Is Herm Edwards interested in getting back into coaching? I don't know. I think I might even give him a chance. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, you definitely need somebody with experience there.
I mean, at least Herm coached more recently than Rex Ryan. We got people texting in that Rex Ryan should be the coordinator. I'm like, no, absolutely not.
No. He's let him stay in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, Rex is a TV personality at this point. Now, part of the reason why I'm also insistent on the Eagles going where they are defensively is because I'm saying, Dave, and I know he's the leading candidate, but I'm going to say it until he's actually hired for the job officially. Brian Johnson has to be the OC. He's already got the relationship with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts likes him. They've known each other for a very long time. Don't get funny. Don't mess with the Jalen Hurts juju. It's good right now.
It's not fit for Juju Smith-Schuster. No.
That's true. That's a good point.
No, but yeah. Excuse me. You're right. Your offensive coordinator, quarterback's coach, they have to have a good relationship with your quarterback. I mean, Jalen Hurts is your franchise guy. So if you have somebody that he's comfortable with, that knows, relates well to, will listen, take advice from, then you definitely make that move. Absolutely.
Dave, I know that you are a baseball guy as well. So how excited are you for Phillies pitchers and catchers reporting tomorrow?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I'm a big baseball guy, as you know, and this is the special time of year where, baseball's in the air, pitchers and catchers reporting. That's a sign that baseball is about to begin. I'm not too keen on some of the rule changes that they've made, but whatever speeds up the game. The only problem I've had, and I know I've told you this before, that I just don't understand the banning of the shift. I don't know why you would take a strategic move out of the game. I mean, if you want to play 8 outfielders, why can't you do that? I mean, what does it matter where the team, I don't think you can determine where players line up on the field. I just think that's a manager's prerogative, and you got to deal with it. But apparently, they felt differently.
Well, we know why. It's because they're trying to boost offensive numbers. They want guys' batting average and RBIs and all that stuff to go up.
Well, guess what? Hit the other way then. Put down a bunt.
Listen, Tony Gwynn ain't walking through that door, Dave, all right? I mean,
sure. Yeah.
Most of these guys don't have the fundamentals anymore. There's no more slap hitters like Vince Coleman out there just slapping it down the line.
Right. And even power hitters. But I guess, I understand to a point wanting to hit through the shift or over the shift. But I would think if you just hit a couple doubles into the gap at the opposite field, they'll probably play you a little more honestly. I don't know, but that's my feeling anyway.
Well, we can talk more about the new baseball changes next week. Dave Weinberg for this week's edition of Weinberg Wednesday here on GameNight on 97.3 ESPN. David, continue to enjoy Florida. Continue making me jealous, and we'll talk soon.
All right, Josh. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Let's talk to you next week.
Josh Hennig here on Game Night, being brought to you by my friends over at Jenkins & Sons. One call does it all. No need to call the drain guy, the heater guy, the plumbing guy, because Jenkins technicians have got you covered. From new heating and air installations, service and maintenance, ductless air systems, water heaters, boilers, gas furnaces, leak repairs, and more. Trust Jenkins Homeowners and business owners trust Jenkins, and so should you. Call them at 609-641-6440 or visit them online at jenkinsandsons.com. All right, we got you guys for the rest of the hour here. Dan in EHT, Jeff in Ocean City, your messages and more. You can text in at 609-403-0973 and your DMs in the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. With all of you guys and more Sixers thoughts next with me, Josh Hennig, here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN.
It's Sixers basketball tonight on 97.3 ESPN with the voice of the 76ers, Tom McGinnis, calling all the exciting play-by-play action.
On the move with the beat, hanging, firing, it's up and good. And B will 11 field goal, and the Sixers have made it a 1-point game.
It's Sixers Cavs tonight. Coverage begins at 7:30. Philadelphia 76ers basketball on your radio home of the Sixers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN.
Better days, healthier living. There are many reasons to start recovery. If you know someone who is suffering from addiction, we are always here to help. Make the call at 844-REACH-NJ.
3 people you should be 100% certain about: your barber, your plumber, and your tax pro. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and you can be 100% certain about your taxes. We'll get you your maximum refund guaranteed, and we'll back your return for life. Don't be kind of certain or almost certain. Be 100% certain. Switch to Jackson Hewitt today and get 50% off tax prep. Limited time offer for new clients filing at participating locations. Max value $200. Visit jacksonhewitt.com/50 for terms.
Hey, big guy. Simple credibility approval.
Listen, big guy, try this. Give them more cash for their clunker.
That was my idea.
Why pay more when you can pay 0% with 0 down? So bring any trade to Matt Blatt Kia and drive home in a brand new Kia. Because if you have a job clearing $350 per week, Matt Blatt Kia wants to approve you. Even with 0 down and 0% APR financing for 36 months. Don't see your new Kia on the lot today? That doesn't mean you can't drive it home tomorrow with peace of mind. Matt Blatt Kia's exclusive 4-day love it or leave it return policy.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
Rate qualifications exist with approved credit. $27.78 per thousand finance on in-stock 2023 Sorrento Hybrid. Not all will qualify. Go to mattblattkianj.com for complete details or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Expires 3/3/23. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township. And now on Route 37 and Tom's River.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver," unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Hi.
Who's this?
Buzz, he appears whenever you eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
Like a genie?
Sure.
Ooh, does he grant wishes? I wish I lived in a giant boot. No, I wish I could swim with a humpback whale. No.
I can grant you a delicious bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, which can help lower cholesterol as part of a heart-healthy diet.
Ooh, with heart shapes, too.
Happy heart-shaped Cheerios are back for a limited time. Pick up a box of Honey Nut Cheerios at your local store for an easy, delicious, and heart-healthy start to your day.
I'm Frank Petro from the Petro-Cohen Law Firm. In sports, they say injuries are part of the game. They can be the difference between winning and losing. The same can be said for work injuries. And when they do happen, and they do, the legal team at Petro-Cohen is there to protect all your important New Jersey workers' compensation rights. Learn more, and for a no-charge consultation, contact your South Jersey workers' compensation legal team at petrocohen.com. That's petrocohen.com. When you're ready, we're ready.
Chase loves soccer.
I'm Chase Greer, and I'm 12 years old.
And his dream is to turn pro. That's why Chase and his family make sure he's always having fun and squeezing out his best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, buddy, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
That's my boy!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
The Maharaja Indian Restaurant is a place of peace and joy, and they want their guests to feel comfortable and welcomed. Their $13.99 buffet is open daily from 11:30 to 3 and is inspired to create the great taste that ancient Indian kings enjoy. Maharaja is located in the English Creek Shopping Center in EHT. Looking for catering for your next event? They offer a full catering menu as well. Visit MaharajaRestaurantNJ.com or call 609-380-7347.
Every piece of land has a story. The Upshaw's right there is with a John Deere 1 Series tractor they call Hennig. And this is Shaw.
Shaw stands for skilled hands at work.
When he's not cutting grass, he's cutting hair.
So every person is different from hair type to head shape. And I feel like it's the same way in a yard.
Front loader to backhoe. The Upshaws have the tools to DIY all day long. Run with us on a 1 Series tractor and start telling your story. Learn more at johndeere.com/radio.
The spring preview event has arrived with 50% off everything at Banana Republic Factory now through Tuesday, February 21st. Discover fresh styles for the season rooted in denim and utility. Explore more at your nearest Banana Republic Factory store or online.
Hey, Coach, we need to score. What's the call? We're going to wing it. We're calling the pick. The pick?
Yeah, the one, the only, the original Piccalilli Inn to score some of South Jersey's best wings and homestyle favorites.
But, Coach, it's the middle of the game.
Pre-game, post-game, during the game, the pick's wings, tails, and ears are always the right call. They're right on Route 206 in Chemung, or check them out on Facebook. Now, who wants mild and who wants hot?
The Piccalilli Inn.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the free mobile app.
6:35. Of course, we are an hour away from starting Sixers basketball. Tom McGinnis from the call here on your home for the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers in South Jersey, 97.3 ESPN. Before we get to your text messages and thoughts at 609-403-0973 and your DMs at 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. We mentioned earlier on the Sports Bash that this is a great weekend that you don't have to worry about being planted in front of the TV for the Eagles or the Sixers. The Flyers, they're not as active right now because they're on the West Coast. They're not on early in the day. They're actually at 4 o'clock on Monday because it's President's Day. But so, I was saying this is a great opportunity for people to go out and enjoy themselves this weekend. Go, do something with your friends or your significant other or whatever you got going on. I mean, I know I'm going to go watch the latest Marvel movie this weekend. I know Mike Gill doesn't care about superheroes, but me and 1 billion people do. The other 5 billion don't care. That's why I thought it was funny what was being said on Mike Greenberg, where Greenberg was so insistent that there are more people watched the Super Bowl than what the numbers said there was. But back to the thing, it's going to be an interesting time of year because so many of us, and I know I'm not the only one. There's a lot of you out there who do the same thing. you make your life plans around the sports and your teams. When a team plays on Sunday, when your team plays on any day of the week, you want to be in front of the TV, whether it's at home or somewhere else. So for many of you, this is a time of year that you want to maybe see what you can go out and live your life again. Maybe your weekends are a little more free now that the Eagles season is over, or whatever team that you root for. So you guys want me to know what you guys are doing this weekend as well. Like I said, I'm going to go. I'm definitely going to go watch the Marvel movie Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania this weekend. I'm not going to divulge anything else I'm doing just yet because I'm not 100% sure. I can't tell you with surety what else I'm doing this weekend. So, but I know one thing at least for sure. All right, on the text board, 609-403-0973. Jeff in Ocean City chimes in and says, why are the Sixers a home dog tonight? Will Embiid have a big game? Sixers are a betting dog in certain books because of the fact that the Cavs are that good. That's really what it comes down to. I think that, a lot of people realize that it's the final game before the All-Star game. And that for a lot of people, you saw last night with the Celtics, they basically sat half their team heading into the bye. We know the Sixers, the only guy who is fully questionable for tonight is Embiid. But I haven't seen an update on his status, except for he was listed as questionable this morning. I know Korkmaz is out with a personal situation. PJ Tucker is probable for tonight's game with right calf soreness, and Embiid's got left foot soreness. So maybe the odds numbers are in part because people are assuming that maybe Embiid won't play because we saw the Celtics sit almost half their team last night. So maybe that's the reason. Again, I don't know exactly the reason, but look, I understand some books have it as a pick'em. Some books have the Sixers favored by 1. Some books have the Celtics, I see, favored by half a point. So it's basically a pick'em across the board. So I don't know if they're an underdog per se, but listen, the Cavs are a very good basketball team. I think that Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland have become an incredible scoring duo on the wing. You look at what they got in the front court with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. They got a lot of talent over there in Cleveland. I think Cleveland is a very, very, very talented team. With Rubio back and healthy, I think that they're a dynamic team. The only question I have with the Cavs is when the main guys aren't playing, right? When you don't have Garland or Mitchell out there, who's going to pick up the scoring pace? And I think that's really the only question for the Cavs moving forward. And I don't think they were one of the few teams that didn't make any type of real moves the deadline. They added Danny Green in the buyout market, but that was more of a depth move and having a veteran in the locker room kind of stuff. That wasn't a Danny Green's going to come in here and score 15, 20 points off the bench for us. He's not Lou Williams or something. So I think that when you think about this team in the Cavs, they're a very talented team. There's a reason why this game, it was moved. It was originally a 7:00 game, not 7:30. And it's because they're putting on ESPN television. This game is being put on television because the Cavs are that good. And I think that, this is going to be, I told you guys earlier in the show, this is a Styles Makes Fights matchup to me. To me, this is a team with excellent perimeter scorers, viable players in the front court for the Cavs, going against the Sixers team that, as we know, has flaws. And I think that we're going to find out how the Sixers really feel about some of their flaws tonight, because if Embiid doesn't get playing time, or he doesn't play, if Embiid doesn't play, that's one thing. But if he doesn't get a lot of, if he plays, let's say, 35 minutes tonight, well, who's playing the other minutes? How much is it Dwayne Dedmon? I know he's out there warming up? How much of it is Montrezl Harrell? How much of it is Paul Reed? Because the Cavs are built on athleticism and perimeter scoring. The Sixers are built on the inside-outside game of Embiid and Harden and having guys that can shoot the ball around them. That's the very different philosophies for these teams. So to me, I look at this as a great opportunity to find out what the Sixers can do against a team like this. I'm very intrigued to find out, how do they handle the rotations? Does Doc Rivers get stuck in the mud and only do things one way, or do they do things different ways? I think there's a lot of ways to think about this going forward. So I am very curious about how the Sixers game plays out. By the way, Jeff from Summers Point says, I think I'm going to go a little bowling this weekend, Josh. Get a pitcher of Bud Light, a couple fireballs. Been very upset since the Eagles lost on Sunday, so go Sixers. That's from Jeff from Summers Point. He says, P.S. Enjoy the movie. Hey, bowling and a couple brews is not a bad way to have a weekend. Just drink responsibly and have a good time. That's all I say, Jeff. Jeff from Summers Point's kind of guy that I could have a drink with. Hang out, shoot the breeze, talk about sports, have a couple drinks. Sounds like me and Jeff Summers Point could hang out sometime. Dan EHT chimes in at 609-403-0973. Dan chimes in, says the Sixers, Cavs could definitely be a first-round matchup if things play out a certain way. I'm worried the Sixers might not get out of the first round if that happens. Cavs are a bad matchup because of their athleticism. That's from Dan and EHT. It's not a great matchup. I had to look at the standings again to figure out exactly how that would play out. Because right now, if I remember correctly, the Sixers are 3 and the Cavs are 4 in the NBA standings. In order for them to play to the first round, they would both have to drop to 4 and 5. And what you're saying is that either here are the teams behind the Cavs. Cavs are the current 4 spot. They are 38 and 22. The closest teams in terms of wins to them are Brooklyn, who's 5 games behind, the Miami Heat, who are 6 games back in the win column, and then you got the teams in the 7 to 9 range. The Knicks are 32 and 27, and that's it. Nobody else has a chance. And I don't think the Nets are catching Cleveland at all. I think that they're going to take a precipitous dive here in the next few weeks without Durant and Kyrie on that team. Could I see the Miami Heat clawing their way up the standings? Of course I can, because they got Jimmy Butler, they got Bam Adebayo, and Eric Spoelstra is the coach, and we know that they'll make at least one more move likely in the buyout market. I wouldn't be surprised if Russell Westbrook, if he gets cut by Utah and gets his buyout that he wants, he ends up in Miami. And we know that when Russ is motivated, how good he can be for a team. When he plays team basketball, when he's motivated, there's nobody else who's more dangerous in the open court. So Miami definitely is a chance they could move up. And then here's the problem I have with the Knicks. While I really like the Josh Hart acquisition, I don't think Hart fixes all of their problems. So I just don't see a scenario where the Cavs and Sixers can play in the first round unless somebody gets injured on the Cavs and they drop to 5, and who's going to get ahead of them? It would have to be the Heat or the Knicks, and I guess the Heat are more likely than the Knicks right now. I'm not sure how likely that is to be a 4 or 5 matchup. But whether it's the first, second round, you don't want – the problem with the Sixers is you don't want teams like the Cavs or the Heat in the first round, either one of them, because both teams play defense. And I think the biggest problem for the Sixers is that when they've been in games where the other team is outworking them, they have had letdowns. They have given up big leads. And for the Sixers, they're a team that has not consistently shown the ability to scrap and claw their way to a victory. I think that's my biggest problem with the 76ers. I think that the couple wins they had over the weekend against the Nets, the Knicks, were positives, that they showed that they could scrap and claw and that they could win ugly games. But look at the Rockets game. They basically just said, hey, we're better than you. We're just going to run away from you. You can't do that against a team like the Cavs. And the Cavs are not like the Nets with, basically a bunch of guys who are fighting for their opportunity to be relevant. They're not a team like the Knicks who are trying to prove that they belong in the postseason conversation. The Cavs don't have to prove anything. They are one of the big boys. They're one of the big four. The big four in the Eastern Conference are the Celtics, the Bucks, the Sixers, and the Cavs. And, if you go by a lot of people who cover the NBA, they all believe the Celtics are head and shoulders above everybody else. That it's the Celtics and then it's the Bucks, Sixers, Cavs. And if that's the case, you don't want to face a team, if you're the 76ers in the first round, whether it is the Heat or the Cavs, because they both can play defense. As Dan EHC mentioned, and I confirmed it earlier, the athleticism factor is a big deal. (609-403-0973). I asked a few minutes ago what you guys are watching this weekend. What are you guys doing this weekend with no Eagles, no Sixers to consume your attention? Anonymous texter chimed in, 609-403-0973. Anonymous says XFL is coming this weekend. It's interesting because Mike Gill and I were just agreeing about this earlier. I love what the XFL is doing. I guess I'm watching much different television than some people are, but I've seen a ton of XFL commercials on television, and I love what they're trying to do with this. I think the XFL, this new version of it, is at least presentation and how they're ramping up. It reminds me of a bigger, better version of the AAF because it feels like they're trying to give you real football. They're trying to give you the product that you would expect from a spring league with this type of money and this type of attention and these type of people involved. They got big coaches out there. They got Wade Phillips out there. He's coaching in the XFL. They got some real former NFL coaches. They got some real interesting players on these rosters. And I love the idea that they're allowing coaches to basically challenge anything and everything going into this season. You look at the fact that they have, the attention that they do in the Seattle team. If I'm remembering correctly, I believe their offensive coordinator is June Jones, their defensive coordinator is Ron Zook, and their head coach is Jim Haslett, for goodness sake. That's all named guys out there you're putting out there. Josh Gordon is playing for the Seattle team. You got some legitimate players. Our local guy from our area, Raquel Armstead, he is playing for the DC Defenders. I'm going to be interested in seeing how he plays in this league. And by the way, the guy who was the best quarterback in the USFL last year left the USFL, Jordan Ta'amu. He is going to play in the XFL this year. So to me, I think that they're just going bigger and better. And I'm very curious to see how this plays out. I think the presentation is an opportunity. I told you guys before, the presentation to me matters because the presentation is going to show you how serious they are about this league. And I'm not saying you got to be all, sizzle and no reality. I think that it's the fact that they're trying to put a real football league on, and they're not trying to tell you, watch us because you like football. They're saying, watch us because we have good football. And those are two totally different things. To me, the USFL is being sold as if you like the NFL on Fox, then you should watch the USFL. The XFL with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is being sold as, we are going to give you the best version of spring football you can find anywhere. And someone just texted in, it's not a WWF show anymore with He Hate Me. It's real football. I agree. It's very similar. James chimes into the show here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN, says, hey, Josh, how about Lovie Smith for the Eagles defensive coordinator job? James, I mentioned Lovie Smith earlier in the show today, and I mentioned him a little bit yesterday. I like the idea of Lovie Smith. I'm not 100% sure how that is executed, because the problem with Lovie Smith is his background is in the cover 2 defense, where Gannon's background is not with that cover 2 Tampa scheme. Now, maybe Lovie would be a guy who would say, hey, I've been around the NFL and college football basically for about 30 plus years. I can adapt. I can, evolve, and I don't have to call a pure Tampa 2 defense. I can take what Gannon did last year and merge it with what I do. I think it's certainly a possibility that he could do that. There's no way that Lovie Smith has to run a certain defense unless he says he has to. I think you saw in Houston the job that he did with that team, how the players respected him. I think he'd be a great guy for this organization, for this locker room. And I just don't get the sense that Sirianni is a guy who is intimidated or would be uncomfortable with a guy like Lovie Smith in that locker room. I think there are some coaches that don't want strong coaches on their staff. They don't want strong personalities. They don't want guys who have a type of pedigree because they themselves are insecure. But I don't think Lovie Smith is that kind of guy. So I don't think Nick Sirianni is that kind of guy either. I think there'd be some clashing like we saw on the Hard Knocks season a few years ago with Browns head coach Hugh Jackson, the offense coordinator Todd Haley. I think Lovie Smith is an interesting option. I don't know if he would be the number one guy I would grab, but I think he should be in the conversation because, like I said, he is a guy that players respect and they like and they play hard for. You saw that with Chicago for years. You saw that in Houston last year. And I think Lovie at this point in his career, he has to, I hope, I hope he realizes that, I don't know if he has any, I don't know how much head coaching he has left in him. The whole situation in Illinois went sideways. I think that was a better idea than it was executed. I think Lovie has to realize now that even though he had a successful tenure in Chicago, when you go 10-6 as a head coach and you get fired, it says something about where you are professionally. And at 64, 65 years old, Lovie's got to realize that after a failed tenure at Illinois, 2 miserable years in Tampa, and then last year getting the most out of the players and then still getting fired, maybe his future in coaching is not as a head coach. And if the Eagles are open to it, I'd be open to the idea. Thanks again to Dave Weinberg for joining the show live from Florida. Always good to hear from Dave. Yeah, pitchers and catchers tomorrow. You'll hear all about it with Mike Gill on the Sports Bash tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN. Mike Gill is going to be all over the Phillies this season. We'll talk about stuff on this show tomorrow, but tomorrow we will get heavier more into the Eagles in the offseason because, listen, I have some strong opinions about who the Eagles should keep and who they should let go. And I'll ask some of those questions to Chris Franklin, Eagles beat writer for NJ.com tomorrow on GameNight here on 97.3 ESPN. Thanks, everybody, for the thoughts and messages today on the show. Great to hear from everyone out there. And thanks to Jenkins & Sons for sponsoring Game Night each night. Give them up online. Check them out, jenkinsandsons.com. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great night. Sixers basketball, 7:30.
Health update with Robin Stoloff. Learn more, live better.
It looks like an overgrown beach ball, but it's actually